Hello my friends and welcome back to All the Mods 9. You thought this series was dead just because we started a Byzantine playthrough dedicated to Minecolonies? Well, think again. So yeah, basically, if you were here for Minecolonies, we started a brand new series where we're investigating the Byzantine style here on the channel, so go and check that out. It's a pretty fun time. But it means we freed up this location here, this series, to dedicate a bit more to the mods of All the Mods 9. And we're going to break into it with one of my favourite mods from All the Mods, and in fact, modded Minecraft in general. What we're going to be looking at today is Mekanism. Now I've built a very cool lab and saved it as a blueprint, so I'm going to get my builder to build that. It's really cool, I hope you're impressed by it, and I can't wait to show you guys. So let's jump in. Alrighty, so to get started we're going to need the build tool. Let's go to my computer and see if I can grab that sucker. Here we go. Right, so I'm going to show you this and find the perfect location for it. But before we find that location, I'm going to put the blueprint down so you can see what this thing looks like. It's very cool. So if we're focusing on All the Mods 9, what are we going to do with the colony? Well, I still love this place, but what I want to do is get everything to level 3 and kind of leave it to settle for a while. We're still going to decorate things, build that canal section, and get this place as a decently running colony. But what we're not going to do is go to the super high end of Minecolonies. We're just going to make it sustainable and a place that's useful for us in our other All the Mods 9 endeavors. Now we're going to need a nice place to put this Mekanism lab. So looking at it, it's pretty hard to see, but those yellow lines are the borders of our colony. And I feel like, yeah, this is a nice bit of flat land up here. So I think this could become where we put the Create Lab. Now what's weird is there are lanterns in this build, but I don't see lanterns in this list of things that it wants us to put down. Very bizarre. But anyway, we'll get to building this, and I'll catch up with you guys after the time-lapse build. I'm going to go and get the materials Mixter needs, and then we'll get started. So land clearance is going to be a big task for Mixter here, and I really wish that builders could dig trees and automatically let the leaves fall off. But the worst part about clearing out land for builders is probably all of the stuff that fills their backpack. So Mixter's going to have to go back and forth with all the berries and saplings and sticks and whatnot that he gathers from clearing out this land. And while the Mekanism Lab is a huge building, I'm still worried that it's a little bit too small. We're still going to have to be quite compact and neat and very strategic in how we set up the machinery around this building. All the Mods 9 has a great chain of quests attached to Mekanism that we can plow through. My goal this episode, at least, is getting to a place within Mekanism where we can triple our ores. But, if I remember rightly, Mekanism has slightly nerfed their ore duplication. But that's something we'll investigate this episode to see how it works. Now this style of having a Minecolonies builder build these blueprints for me to build mods in is something I'm really enjoying, but I want you guys at home to let me know what kind of buildings do you think I should be designing blueprints for to fill up with modded stuff. For magic mods, I can certainly think of like a wizard's castle. For Mekanism, it's always going to be a laboratory for me, and I'm thinking I should build a power plant to put in our power generation tools. But if you've got any other good ideas, let me know in the comments section, and I will heart and like the comment. Another cool thing I'm thinking about is maybe some kind of greenhouse where we can put all of our mystical agriculture seeds, because they're going to come in very important as we explore these new mods. But here we go, the finished Mekanism Lab. Let's jump in and start populating this with some wicked machines. So here it is, the Create Laboratory. Man, it took Mixter forever to build this, and she bugged out, he bugged out, a little bit at the start, but the completed build is here. You can see here we've got some fountains at the front, lots of roses and decoration. Now, it's diorite mixed with, was it deep slate? Yeah, deep slate bricks, because that fits in with the later colonial style. And I do love these chipped shroom-like blocks as a light source. They look great. So the way this building is designed is we have a back entrance here, maybe for freight to come in. We've got this channel that goes all the way up here, and this is basically how we're going to get pipes and power up to the different floors. Amazing. Then over here we have the elevator. Now we don't have the elevator blocks yet, but once that's in position we can zip between the floors very, very easily. Now, like I said, it's a little bit cramped in here. I'm a bit nervous that I made this building too small. But smaller buildings look much tidier, and it can be easy to just build a massive building to put all your stuff in, but when you have like 5 or 6 machines in the middle and a lot of empty space, it kind of looks a bit boring. So I'm going to go over to the computer now and grab what I'm going to need for Mekanism. Oh my god, is somebody dying in here? Oh, Jadela, you got quite the cough there. Hope you get better soon. And we should be good. Now, another thing that Mekanism requires quite a lot of is fluids. So we're going to make a few buckets to scoop up some lava and some water, because my traveler's backpack now, I've upgraded this to diamond, and there's a lot of room in here to store some fluids. So I'm going to go and grab some water and some lava from the nether. Here we go, glug, glug, glug. And putting this in my backpack is as easy as grabbing loads of buckets, then opening up the backpack and, yeah, hoiking them there on the left. 5 buckets of water. Well, it doesn't quite hold as much as I was hoping for, but now let's go grab the lava. Oh, in fact, why go to the nether? We can use our create workshops and the lava cauldrons down here. Perfect. In fact, I have a theory. If we put buckets on this conveyor belt, are they going to get filled with lava? Oh yeah, perfect. Got a little production line going here. Amazing. Man, I love mods. Now I know it looks really ugly, this entrance. We're going to have to come around and fix this, dig out all of this stuff, and make it look pretty. But the building works and is functional for now. Oh, and Mixter's enjoying their time off with a little bit of a soak in the fountain. Okay. So where do we begin? Well, Mekanism must have its own quest chain. Yeah, here it is. Is it a complicated one? Let's find out. Whoa! Okay, lots going on here. Lots to unpack. But there's a very clear line for how you should progress through this mod, ending up over here on the right with Advanced Mekanism, the path to reactors. Whew. Whoa, thermodynamic conductors? Logistical transporters, Mekanism has changed. I love it when a mod gets upgraded. There's going to be all kinds of cool new things to try. So anyway, we've done the osmium stage. Let's grab, some free osmium, hooray. And get cracking on. Now it all starts with a heat generator. This is basic power gen. And we're going to need a crafting bench. No, we're not. I've got my backpack. So a heat generator, very simple to make. We'll need planks, a furnace, copper, osmium, and iron. I knew there was something I forgot. Okay, well, back to get some copper. Ooh, while that's cooking as well, I'm gonna need my diamonds. I got a fair few of these, so yeah, 80. A stack should be fine. I'll also need, I should have some obsidian. I'll probably need more than 10, but that'll be fine to get us going. And I'm probably gonna need a little bit more iron, because you go through loads of this in Mekanism, so I reckon, yeah, 3 more stacks should be fine. Mekanism is also a great way to make steel, and steel is used in a lot of mods as well. In fact, Mekanism steel is one of my favourite ways to make it. You can also use like immersive engineering and other ways, but I like Mekanism. Oh man, yeah, this colony is going to be amazing though, and one of the goals I want to do in all the mods 9 is check out the space mod. I think it's called Ad Astra, and I really want to go to the moon at some point. I think that'd be frickin' amazing. So here we are, and we're ploughing through these Mekanism quests. We want a heat generator, right, that's correct. So we're going to need cobble into a furnace. I should have brought more than a stack, but I've got my dank, so I'm probably fine. There we go, and we'll make a few planks as well while we're here. So here we go, everything we need for a heat generator. Boom, the heat generator is a great way to just burn anything that burns and turn it into power. I think there's more efficient mods at generating power out of just burnables, but Mekanism uses this, that's fine. You can also surround it with lava as well, which won't create much power, but it is passive and self-sustaining and renewable, which is pretty cool. Alright, so the next step is the Metallurgic Infuser. Now we're going to need a few of these. I like to have Metallurgic Infusers dedicated to certain tasks. I reckon we're probably going to want about six of these. So let's take a look. The requirements are, redstone, osmium, more furnaces, nothing we can't do. Boom, there's 1. But we're not going to stop at 1. We're going to go for, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Amazing. So let's set this up. Now I reckon this floor, the first floor, could be the infusion level. So we're going to have our basic infusers over on this side. Now there is an upgrade path for most machines in Mekanism. You start with the infuser, and like most machines they have a core tier 1. Then you go to the basic factory. That will then become an advanced factory. And then that becomes an elite factory. And factories can do, I think, like 3 recipes at a time, so it's really worth upgrading those whenever you can. So over on this side, we're going to have a steel making setup, and this is going to require, I think, just 2 infusers, but there you go, that's the 6. Make an osmium compressor, really only good for 2 things, I guess refined glowstone and refined obsidian. And the energized smelter, it's Mekanism's powered furnace, like an iron furnace, but for Mekanism. I mean, we could even skip the Mekanism ones and just use an iron furnace one, but we're going to go with Mekanism because we're staying loyal to Mekanism as much as we can. No shortcuts here. And so there you go, the heat generator is down. We're going to need a way to get power out of the heat generator into the other machines. Now, if you'll remember, I said that machines can kind of send items in between each other through the side configs. The same, I think, works for power, but the heat generator is only configured to send power out the back, that green bit. So in theory, if we put this down facing, I guess, this way, there we go, now it's transferred the power. But that's no good for us because, well, it looks kind of messy, and also, these machines over here aren't going to get any power anyway, so we're going to need to feed some cable through. Oh, and this is where things do get spicy indeed, so we're going to need steel ingots. Steel, like I said, is a great use for Mekanism. In the energized smelter you put steel dust, and you get steel dust by, enriching iron with coal. So the idea is, iron goes in here, and it gets infused with, let's get the coal out of our pack, infused with coal. There we go. Now putting coal in the left there as kind of like carbon injection isn't the most efficient way to do it. If you put coal into an enrichment chamber, you get enriched coal or enriched carbon, and that goes much further, but that's getting a bit down the line. That's a little bit advanced Mekanism for us for the moment, so we'll just stick with regular coal. Not the prettiest by any means. We'll come back and make this prettier in the future, but this is going to keep our heat generator going, and it's going to keep our metallurgic infuser making enriched iron. Now there's not enough power being created by this heat generator, so as you can see it's going very, very, very slow. So getting a better source of power is more ideal than this heat generator. If you can skip it, definitely do. So basically, to make steel, you take the enriched iron that we have in here, and then in it goes, turning this now into steel dust. So now we have the steel dust, we need to smelt this into steel ingots, and this is where we've kind of misplaced everything because, we're going to need a furnace at the end. So it looks like we're going to be making that energized smelter. It shouldn't be too hard to do. Energized smelter. Oh, here we go. And this is where we start to use some of the more advanced materials in Create. A basic control circuit, which is redstone dust and then osmium ingots in another metallurgic infuser. We'll put redstone in the left, osmium in the red slot, and boom, it's going to need power, so we're going to borrow this. Luckily enough, these machines keep their power when you move them, which is pretty handy. There we go. All we want is enough to get some cable. Once we have cable, everything will be fine. And we're also going to need steel casing, which is, again, where steel becomes such a big part of this mod. So I guess more steel dust, here we go. Okay, so 17 steel later, and let's see how we're going on the quests. Steel was a quest. Oh yeah, look over here. Boom, and we get, what do we get for this? Another basic control circuit. Pretty useful for us right now. So we've got steel, let's get to making the real important machines. We want, firstly, some steel casing. This is where the glass is going to come in handy, and the osmium. And then we use the steel casing to make ourselves the energized smelter. Put this on the end, and now it'll all auto-export once we select this. All the way to the right, and this is how we get steel. This is the very simple steel setup. Now we want to run some cable behind these so that we can get some power to these bad boys, and that's where we're going to make the mechanism cables. Just steel ingots and redstone, a very simple craft. And each one gets you 8, which is plenty. So the output faces this way, and then come around the back with this basic universal cable. Oh, amazing! Ah, and there it goes! The energized smelter is smelting away. Now, Mekanism is a very loud mod, if you can hear me over the sounds of all these machines, so you might want to make use of the in-game muffler to kill some of the Mekanism sound effects. For example, the heat generator, you can turn that off. The energized smelter, turn it off. And the infuser, boom, and suddenly you have silence. Oh man, glorious. However, I don't suggest doing this because you won't be able to hear when your machines are or aren't working, which might stop you from diagnosing certain problems. But for us, that's going to be much, much, much better. Now, Mekanism also has cables for transferring liquids, gases, they're a thing, so you can fart in one of these tubes and send it to your friend. It can also transfer items, and oh, look at this, it can also transfer heat. Very cool. So we made the energized smelter. We will need the osmium compressor at some point. It's important for Mekanism. So let's see if we can do that. Also, we're going to have to set up these metallurgic infusers with the things they need to make things like control circuits going forwards. Now, we're not going to need too many of these. So an osmium compressor. Oh, and this is where things get a little bit spicy. We need advanced control circuits, and these are made by combining infused alloy with basic control circuits. And infused alloy is made in the metallurgic infuser by putting redstone with iron. Right, so this one has to be redstone combined with iron. But yeah, there's one infused alloy, and we should have enough for 2. Oh yeah, the good stuff, maybe even enough for 3. So it's basic in the middle, infused on the left and the right, but you only get 1 per craft, so it's quite tricky. So here we go. Oh my god, what? Oh no, Ambriel Longstaff died from the mechanical saw. We didn't learn our lesson from last time. We're going to have to cover that thing up. For now, we have Mekanism to be about, so the osmium compressor, we're going to need steel casing, again, boom. This stuff's super handy. Might as well make another one because it's going to be used for almost every single machine. Then we can use these empty buckets that we have as well. They're pretty useful to make the osmium compressor. Wait, who's that? Oh, it's just old Mixter. And that's another quest complete. So basically you use the osmium compressor. Ooh, reinforced alloy, great result there. You use the osmium compressor to make refined glowstone and refined obsidian ingots, and those are used in some crafts later on, but we don't need to worry about them now, I don't think. But there we go, and we got plenty of steel over here in the energized smelter. This thing is going great. Again, power problems everywhere. So if you can get a better way of making power, or maybe even more of these heat generators, definitely do that. So we've got the metallurgic infusers, and the next step is the enrichment chamber. This is probably going to be quite a tricky task, and it's going to use all of the materials that we've made so far. Yeah, that's right. It's cheaper than the osmium compressor for sure. Luckily though, I think we've got everything we need. Yeah, the enrichment chamber. Now the enrichment chamber is where things get a little bit spicy. As the quest will tell us, it works like a macerator or pulverizer. And someone in the comment section was asking where you get macerators. Well, guess what? It's in Mekanism, the enrichment chamber. This is going to break down ores down into dusts. it breaks 3 raw ores down into 4 dusts. Wait a minute, that's terrible. So it looks like Mekanism doesn't even duplicate ore at the first stage. It just gets you like a little bit extra. So ore hammers are actually better than Mekanism? Crazy. But this is the start of ore duplication, so you do want to do it. And like I said earlier, enrich your items first. Basically, we've been putting raw redstone into here and raw coal, and that's never a good thing to do. What you really want to do is enrich things first. So what I'm thinking is, the perfect place for the enrichment chamber is going to be on top here, and we can have it kind of filter down the different things it makes through some filtered pipes into the different infusers. That sounds like a good idea. Yeah, amazing. It's going to need a bit of power, of course. So up that comes, and in it goes. Yeah, and so for this quest, the first thing it wants you to do is make some enriched coal. Now I should have some coal left over somewhere. And basically, yeah, enriched coal, enriched redstone, enriched diamonds. They all go much, much further than the previous tier. Yeah, check this out. So we'll go over to this machine here. Now it's got 400 in here, but if we put the enriched carbon in, boom, it goes up to 480, whereas 1 coal would only give you 10. So it's 8 times as good. Likewise, the redstone over here, we're going to need a bunch of this, so boom, enrich redstone. So there we go, we've enriched some items, we've got the enrichment chamber and the first series of stuff. Oh, look at this, we can also complete these quests. Get some free redstone, some free enriched redstone. Oh, look at this, some free enriched diamonds as well, really nice. So we can put the enriched diamond now into the third one over here. Boom. Oh yeah, amazing. And then we have the pressurized reaction chamber. Now this is a bit of a side spur because it's used for late game Mekanism stuff, so we're not going to touch this just yet. We can kind of move on to the next thing right now, which is the electrolytic separator. What this does is it turns water into its component things? Hydrogen and oxygen? Yeah. And then you use that in the ore processing to purify, and then you crush, and then you have a tier 2 ore factory. And that's what we're going to go for this episode. So let's get the electrolytic separator powered up. Now we're going to need a few of these because you need a lot of oxygen and a lot of hydrogen going forwards. So forward planning with this is a good idea. And that's why the next floor, the second floor up, is going to be our electrolytic separation room. So what's required to make one of these bad boys? Well, yeah, all of the stuff we've already got, and an electrolytic core. What is an electrolytic core? Oh my god. Iron dust, osmium dust, gold dust. Mekanism says you should do this in the crusher, which we don't actually have yet, but we can be very cheeky and use ore hammers to begin with. So I'm going to go and grab that ore hammer and some gold, because I forgot I needed that, and then we can get some dusts. Okay, bada bing, bada boom. Put some ore hammer in here, put some gold ingot there. You can also use gold ore, and that's more efficient, but we don't have any ore, we've only got the bars. We're also going to need some iron dust, so we'll make 5 of those as well. And did it say osmium dust as well? Yeah, I think so. So 5 of that. Man, we're getting like lots and lots of stuff in our pack. It's really good that I upgraded the backpack. And we can craft one of these. Boom. And now we should be able to make the entire machine. Yeah, there we go. Boom, the electrolytic separator. And we get some pretty sweet stuff from that as well. Infused alloy. Oh, perfect. So the best way to get water into an electrolytic separator is using, weirdly, a kitchen sink. It's weird, but it's kind of like an All the Mods meme now, that the best water source is a kitchen sink from Cooking for Blockheads. And you know what? That's fine. Yeah, look at this. The classic infinite water source, a kitchen sink. And you know what? In my kitchen, I guess the sink is an infinite water source, so it makes sense. So let me go back to base and craft up some kitchen sinks. Oh, there we go. Water source, boom, infinite water. Get the bucket of water because, okay, yeah, sure, why not? Wait, do you have to put a bucket of water into a kitchen sink to get it to work? I don't think so. Anyway, let's head up to the second floor now where we're going to start putting these things into motion. We'll put the first electrolytic separator over here. Now we're going to need some more cables and some fluid pipes, but also some gas pipes as well. And this is where we start to get really technical with Mekanism and make these special pipes. So first up, more cable. We need a few of these, so that should be enough. 17 should be okay. Then the pressurized tube for some gas. Boom. And now for fluids, the mechanical pipe, and again using more of these buckets. Who knew that buckets would become so useful? Well, actually me, because I've done Mekanism before. Now, to configure all of these pipes and things, you get a tool from Mekanism called... Well, what is it? I can't remember what it's called, but I know what it looks like. It looks like a weird little screwdriver thing. I think I want to say configurator? Oh, and it gets a bit tricky here because, yeah, we need an energy tablet, which is gold, infused alloy, and redstone. But again, this is all stuff that I can kind of do, no sweat. So one of those. A configurator is going to be very, very handy going forwards. So yeah, it's nothing we should ignore. And this is how you configure pipes. So here we go. We're going to get the basic mechanical pipes, attach these to the sinks at the back. Boom, like this. Looking good. Now we're going to have to move this because, yeah, the pipe's going to have to come into the front. So we'll bring this just a little bit forwards. The mechanical pipe comes into the back, and this should be putting water into the separator, but it's not yet. So we need to get the configurator, hold shift and right click on the inputs here, and you can change it to push, pull, that's what we want, to pull water out of these sinks. Amazing. And this is great because this doesn't need any power to send water down these pipes, so you don't need any pumps at all once you have a configurator. Really cool. And as you can see, yeah, we have a separator full of water. It's going to need power, of course, so we're going to have to dig away. This is where we're going to have to do a bit of decoration after the fact, but the power is going to have to come from below here. So here we go. The water is coming in through to the separator. The power is going in as well. That means it's going to feed out hydrogen and oxygen out of these respective sides. Now, this is where it's tricky, and I know that you guys at home have done exactly the same thing as me here, but I always get these mixed up. I always get the wrong pipe coming out of the wrong thing. But we can kind of leave this for a second while we make our next machine. And here we go. So basically the hydrogen gas you can burn in the gas burning generator. It'll get you a little bit of extra power, something to do with the hydrogen at this early stage of the game. But the oxygen we want to put into the purification chamber. So it looks like this is what we're making next. Here we go, the purification chamber. And again, this is all stuff we already know how to make. Enrichment chamber, advanced control circuit. Let's go and grab those things and make one of these. So first up, the enrichment chamber, which needs steel casing. There we go. Glass you go through a lot of, actually. That's something to remember for this mod pack. Make sure you bring a lot of glass when you're doing Mekanism. So the enrichment chamber then becomes the purification chamber. Oh, amazing, we have all the bits. There we go. Boom, it makes clumps. This machine purifies our ores into clumps. Yeah! So this is where now we need to start thinking about ore processing. So I'm going to go up to the third floor now, because the third floor is where we're going to process all the ore for the time being. Oh, we ran out of cable, have to make some more of that. Just a bit of redstone and a bit of steel. There we go. But yeah, now it's time to build the last bits required for our ore processing factory. And that's going to be the crusher, the last domino to fall. Shut up, Wesley. So we're going to need lava buckets, steel casing again. And buckets of lava. Now this is where it's going to come in handy that I have all this lava. Boom. Now we're running very low on materials, but this should be the last thing we need. So, the crusher. Now we need to work out the order of things. This is important. So we start with ore, and we'll start with iron ore. It's a great basis for anything. So this is used in the purification chamber to make 2 iron clumps. The iron clumps then get crushed into dirty iron dust. Then the dirty iron dust gets enriched into iron dust, and the iron dust gets smelted? Doesn't sound right, because at that rate we're only going to make, let's see, yeah, we're only going to double our ore. So the process starts with purification. You purify iron into iron clumps. Then you crush the iron clumps into dirty iron clumps or dust. Then you use an enrichment chamber, so we'll have to go and make one of those. So then the ore gets enriched, which turns it into dust. And then finally, on the end, you have an energized smelter. So we'll go and make one of those as well. There we go, another steel casing, man. We're running out of steel. So yeah, make sure you go into this with plenty of coal, plenty of redstone, plenty of glass, iron, and osmium, because you use tons of this stuff. There we go. And we'll configure all of these. So you output to the right, auto eject. Then you output to the right, auto eject. Again, output to the right, so on and so forth. But the smelter, no, you're going to keep it. We'll bring power along the back here. There we go. And that's kind of everything we need, except the purification chamber needs oxygen. So, let's get that sorted. Now, I can't remember. I think oxygen comes out as a gas. And that sounds silly, because you're probably saying at home, oh, what are we talking about? Oxygen's always a gas. But one of these things comes out of here as liquid, and I can't remember whether it's hydrogen. Oh no, you can see here. So both of these are coming out as gases. That's good. It's not going to conflict with this liquid pipe. So we use our pressurized tube now, the gas, and let's see. So this is hydrogen on this side, which means it's got to be the other side. Yeah, there we go. The oxygen coming up here. We'll bring it up to the roof. And then along over here to the machine. And we're going to feed this in at the bottom, I reckon. Okay, so this is finally the moment of truth. We're going to need an ore to test this out and see if it actually works. So do I have anything on me? No, oh wait, look, yeah, some raw iron ore here. This is the perfect tester. So let's give it a go. Iron ore goes into here. And this is a power-hungry process, but it's going to work. We're going to double our ores. Man, look at what we have to do to mimic a fraction of an ore hammer's power. It's crazy. But yeah, oh, that's the familiar sound of the crusher. Oh man, I remember that sound. It takes me back to my childhood. So the crusher then moves on to the enrichment chamber, dirty iron dust, and the final process, smelting this into an ingot. Boom. Okay, and I think we can wrap up a whole bunch of quests now by going over here and saying, yeah, we've done it. Or set up tier 2. Boom. Thank you very much for the infused alloy and the XP. Oh, it even tells you how this goes. So the purification chamber with oxygen, then the crusher, then the enrichment chamber, and then into your preferred smelter of choice. You follow? Yeah, I think we do. Bada bing, bada boom. So thank you very much for watching this episode of All the Mods 9, because yeah, we're back. If you're looking for the schedule, basically I'm going to release Byzantine Colony episodes on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, with All the Mods 9 on the Tuesdays and Thursdays. Mekanism is such a huge mod that there's no way we could go through the whole thing in one episode. That would be crazy. But we got a solid head start here, and what I can do between episodes now is tidy things up. We are going to need a better way of generating power, or in fact, maybe next episode we could work on power, so then we can come back to Mekanism once we have power conquered. Anyway, a massive thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ding that bell to be notified of when more videos are released. And also, if you want to build this Mekanism lab from the series on your own worlds, or any of the other things I've built around the colony, then I do have blueprints on my Patreon and YouTube members Discord. But until next time, guys, a massive thank you for watching, and take care.